Hi, good evening. I was on mute, y'all. Good evening. It is Coach Gail Benson, and I am here to greet you tonight in Transformation Conversations. We are going to be talking about pressing, okay? We are going to be pressing through to figure out how do we endure? How do we get through the pressure? How do we get through the pressing? How do we endure? Let me tell you how we do that. We learn how to do it tonight, and we're going to learn how to do it together. So I'm going to get my notes set up here because I want us to have a very good conversation. But first of all, I want to welcome everyone that is on tonight. Thank you for joining us. I want to do some housekeeping first of all and say, like and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe with this thing so we could come on and grow together and transform as a community. Please and thank you. I'm so happy that you all decided to join tonight. Welcome to Transformation Conversations, where we empower women to navigate through their journeys with resilience and strength. I am your host, Coach Gail Benson, and today we are diving into a very powerful topic: pressing through challenging moments, preparing to endure, and recognizing opportunities for growth and development during those present times. So let's get started, okay? Tonight, I'm going to go through some topics that help us identify pressing moments and strategies that help us get through those times and grow and learn at the same time, because there is life after the pressing. It doesn't feel like it when you're actively in it. But this conversation will help you understand and identify those moments and how you can change that and change your mindset and grow and develop through those times. So the first thing I want to talk about is identifying and just introducing what that looks like. And we've all faced moments in our lives and in business as well when pressing and pressure feels overwhelming. And it's in these moments that we find the greatest opportunities for growth and development. So today we'll explore how to endure these challenges and turn them into stepping stones for success. I'm excited to share strategies and stories that will inspire and empower you to keep pressing forward no matter how tough things get. I know it's easier said than done, but trust me, we all have been pressed. We all get pressed every single day because none of the days that we get blessed to see every day is the same. There's some type of new nuance or new element in your day every single day. So let's talk about these moments. Let's start it by understanding what the pressing moments are, and they could be a major setback in your business, a personal challenge, or even an unexpected crisis. And these moments test our strength and resilience every time, especially an unexpected crisis. No time is a good time to have a crisis. But here's the thing, it's in these moments that we have the potential to grow the most. We have the potential to identify how we can use the challenges to learn and maximize the resources that we have. It's about how we respond to the pressure and what we learn from it, because we all can learn and grow through these processes. And one thing I will tell you, that we don't often forget pressing moments and times. And it seems like we really vividly remember those moments, but do we always remember the lesson? So let's talk about enduring. Are we prepared to endure? Do we know when we're being pressed? Because let me just have this real, just casual, quick conversation with you about this. You know how we get, to get ourselves together and we start asking and praying to, asking and praying God to catapult us, help us to be a bigger and better person, help us do more, advance and increase our business so that we can reach more people and be a light in the community. And when we're asking for these things, are we prepared to endure through the answered prayer? Because most of the time, all we know is what we're asking for, but we never really know what the requirements are for us to have that thing. Now, business and structure wise, you know how your business is set up. You've done your market research, and structurally, you're prepared. But endurance wise, is as far as what pressing through your answered prayer is, because you're having that prayer, you're praying for pressing, because everything that comes to you is going to be a lesson. And never think your prayers are not being answered. We're just not prepared to the manner in which the prayers get answered and the work that it requires for us to have it, because we don't have that magic lamp and we're not rubbing on prayers and things are just popping up. We have to be prepared and we have to grow in order to get to and through the things that are required to have what we're looking for. So let me ask you this, and please feel free to put this in the comments. Will you want that thing, whatever it is you're praying for, whether it's personal or if it's for your business? Will you still want that when you find out that you have to change for it? Will you still pray that strong, humble prayer? Will you continue to have that prayer if you knew that that very blessing or the gift or that thing requires isolation and separation? That some things and peace, some people may fall off and fall away. Is it still going to be your heart's desire when you find yourself being pressed through that thing? You got to get pressed to get to your power, because it's training. And when you're asking for something, be ready to be prepared, because it's like giving somebody a gift that they don't know how to use. We think we're equipped with a lot of things, and something. Oftentimes, we find out it's a lot we don't know. So be careful what you're asking for. And I'm not saying don't prepare yourself and pray to. I serve the Lord Jesus Christ. So when I pray, I'm praying to God for guidance. I'm asking Him for increase. But I also know in doing that, it's going to be some things that come along with that. Okay. So, baby, hello, Miss D. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you so much. So, I'm going to go through endurance. What that means. Being prepared is key to enduring through the tough times. And here are some strategies to help you build resilience and stay strong in the pressing. First and foremost, and I know we hear this a lot, but it is true. We have to have a mindset shift. That is the key. That is your driver. Your mind controls how you see the world. So, first and foremost, it's about having a growth mindset instead of seeing challenges as obstacles. See them as opportunities to learn and grow. When we're learning, we're also being equipped with how to use the very thing that we're being pressed for. Again, personal or professional, whether it's your business or it's a personal challenge or just personal growth, be prepared to have a mindset shift, and that will support how you see the opportunities that come before you while you're in the present. So the next one is self care. You have got to take care of yourself. And too often, and I'm saying this for my sisters, women, we often do so much for everybody else. Y'all hear me say this all the time. Get off the back burner. We have got to not feel guilty about taking care of ourselves. Self care and well being is pivotal when you are being pressed, because that is going to affect how your body responds. Because pressing, it's not easy. It is not easy. And if you are not physically, mentally, and emotionally stable, you have to find time to make time for activities that rejuvenate you, whether it's exercise, meditation, spending time with loved ones. Do whatever it is that you need to do to keep your mind focused, rejuvenate, reconnect with your own energy. Spend time in meditation. Do affirmations. Speak to yourself. Speak to yourself just like you take time to encourage everybody else. I, I am so guilty of it. I have encouragement for everybody else, and I need to be intentional with myself. I have to take those parts of me that I piece off and give to everybody else. I have got to keep some me for me, because I have to encourage myself, because in the long run, in the pressing, it is nobody in there but you and God. So when I tell you, you have to be able to guide yourself through and talk yourself through that thing. Change your mindset. See the opportunities in front of you for growth and development. I promise you, it will go a long way, especially when you are taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Okay. And if there's some things that are triggering for you while you're going through pressing, please reach out to me at info@gailbenson.com. I have a list of resources for licensed mental health counselors, credentialed clinical psychologists that may be able to help you along the way. Okay. So we don't have to do any of this alone. There is support out there for us, for everyone, men and women. I'm happy to guide anybody to the resources that they need. So, on to the next one, practical preparedness. Have a plan. Please have a plan in place for how to handle potential setbacks. This could include having financial reserves, diversify your streams of income, because I know y'all see me summer everywhere. I'm doing some of everything. And in the moments of doing some of everything, a part of my pressing is identifying what is it that I'm doing that I don't need to be doing. What do I do in my season of separation? What do I need to let go? That's a part of pressing. And I'm being pressed to make that decision because I have to free myself up for what I'm really actually supposed to be doing. But I am diversifying my streams of income. I'm telling you, if this is your first time seeing me, spend a little time on the internet, okay? Spend some time out there on social media. I'm bound to pop up somewhere because I'm trying to diversify my streams of income, okay? And have a crisis management program. Be prepared for a contingency plan. If things don't go quite the way that we plan, we have to have a contingency plan, a preparedness plan. How are you going to do your business or tend to your personal development or your family like now? Hey Odie, thank you for coming on. Right now here in the state of Florida, I'm watching the weather. It's a Hurricane Beryl is out here. God bless, and I'm praying for everybody that's been affected. That storm has been tumultuous, but How be prepared. I was caught twice in two major hurricanes because I wasn't watching the weather. I wasn't watching the news. My brother had to call me and he was like, "Y'all okay over there? Everything good? Y'all need anything?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "It's a hurricane coming." And I go outside my house oblivious, not paying attention. I see windows boarded up. My neighbor across the street is an elderly woman, and she was evidently not watching the weather either because she was like, "Oh my God, Gail, a storm is coming." I didn't want to seem ill prepared, but I was. And you know what that trickled down to? Somebody who needed my help, I couldn't even help her because I wasn't prepared. So being prepared is key. Have an emergency prepared plan or an alternative. Have a contingency plan. What I will tell you is about preparedness and enduring through pressing is that you have to be able to be flexible with your mind shift, build and have a support system. Make sure that you have people that can encourage you, give you advice, whether it's friends, family, or a mentor. Have a strong support system because that can make all the difference in your experience. But be prepared, have practical preparedness, have a backup plan because it ain't nothing like being able to shift. That pivot is serious. Understand? When you recognize it's time to shift and go another direction or do something differently, because we have the autonomy to do it, because it's our lives, it's our decision, it's our plans, whether it's personal or professional. We are still in the midst of it all. So you do have options. Don't get stuck in the decision. Don't get stuck in the decision because when it comes up, you had a decision, you made a plan. The smart thing is when it don't seem to be working just right, baby, you don't have to stay in that. Go in another direction. Revisit the plan. Take the paper, crumble it up, start over. Revamp it. If you don't have to recreate the wheel, then don't. But please reach out for help. Have a strong support system, okay? I love it. Thank y'all for yes, be prepared. Absolutely for sure. That is key. Be prepared. So, with that, we talked about what that moment looks like, enduring, preparedness, mind shift. So now I want to get into recognizing the opportunities to grow while we're in the pressing. And I don't know if you saw the video that I had attached to the thumbnail, and it showed the hands like this and a bunch of sparks and stuff was coming out because most of the time when we're in situations, this is what it feels like. It feels like we're just in it, and they say God has you in the palm of his hands, and sometimes he puts you in there and he has to change the density. He has to revamp what he's working with, and we're in the middle of that pressing. And while we're in here, just us and him, us in the Lord. When it's just me and God in that moment, when maybe I'm not recognizing my support system. Maybe I don't have that set up. Maybe it's SOS and I'm in a season of separation and God gets you by yourself. How do you recognize those opportunities? How do you recognize that when you're in the pressing? So when you're in the midst of the pressing moment, it can be hard to see opportunities for growth. It because you don't see nothing else but this. So how do we change our mindset? Yes, don't get stuck. Be ready to pivot at all times. Even when you in the midst of this right here. How do we see an opportunity when we feel like it's just us in there and all the heat and the pressure is happening in that space and you feel like it's just you? There are opportunities in there waiting to be discovered. And that's why God puts you in there because he gets you it's just you and him. And there are opportunities in there for you to self reflect. Take time to reflect on what the challenge is teaching you. What skills are you developing? What strengths are you discovering about yourself? You can be adaptable. Use the moment to innovate. Think about something different. How do you do it outside of the box? Because yes, that pressing is hard. But if we want that very thing that we prayed for, we have to do it. Because like I said earlier, are we really aware of what we're asking for when we're focusing and we're praying and we're asking for our businesses to be successful, or we're asking for certain things in our lives? We're praying for pressing. We're asking for things and don't realize what is required to have it. So we have to be able to adapt and use these moments to innovate. Sometimes the greatest ideas come from times in crisis because we have to think quick on our feet. And people most often don't qualify themselves or see themselves as critical thinkers. Let a crisis happen. We have to give ourselves more credit. We don't always give ourselves enough credit on how we deal with crisis, how we deal with change, or how adaptable are we in these life's moments. So I ask people to do two things on a daily basis. Don't look. I'm putting up four fingers, talk about two things. I want you to do two things always. Give yourself grace and give yourself a chance, because I promise you, you will learn so much about yourself when you give yourself those two things. So, in doing that, while we're in here, guess what's happening? You are building up your resilience. Every time you endure a pressing moment, you build resilience. This will serve you well in future challenges, and it'll make you stronger and a more capable entrepreneur, because you are prepared to not only share your testimony but also the tools that you learn and develop in the middle of the pressing. It's happening to you right now, but it's for somebody else that's coming your way that you don't even know about. Yes, baby, Odie, I'm telling you. And what I'm saying, you say you had to stop asking God for stuff. Wait, I got to show this one. Baby, I'm telling you. She said I had to stop asking God for stuff and ask God for him, girl, because you're going to need him. You are going to need him in his. Understand? Because when you're in here and it's just you and him, that's where your strength is going to come from. That's who's going to remind you who and whose you are. That's who's going to remind you what he already put inside of you. He's doing this to help you connect to it. And once you connect to it, then this will start opening up for you, and the pressure won't seem like so much pressure. Thank you for saying that, Odie. Absolutely. We do need to move in him. I love, love, love that. So one of the things I'm with the resilience, like I said, you share that testimony and the tools. Share the testimony and the tools with whoever's coming your way. You don't see it while you're in there, but when that community finds you, when that person comes to you, and it's like, oh, okay, you'll find that you were able to share that. Because why? Because you had personal growth while you were enduring, and you built up your resilience, and you had personal development while you were in that pressing. The challenges often lead to personal growth. You might find that you're more compassionate, more patient, more determined than you really realize. Most of the time, we are stronger than we give ourselves credit for. But it's not until we get pressed that we find out a lot of things about ourselves that we either forgot or we tucked away, or it's a brand new power that we just discovered. Because I promise you, it's in there. You were woven perfectly, masterfully made, custom made, one of a kind. There is only one you in this lifetime that has what you have to do it the way God built you to do it. So when I tell you you have it, but in the manner in which it is shown to you and you get to it We don't get to choose that, but we do get to be prepared. So now I want to ask you all, and I appreciate you, Dee and Odie, for being in here and being active and engaging in the comments. I want to ask you just to reflect for a moment that can you think of a time, this specific time when you face significant challenges in your personal life, personal development, or even in your business? How did you handle it? What did you learn from that experience? So while you're thinking about your experience, I will tell you, even for me, sharing that I faced a lot of challenges when I even just started out as an entrepreneur. I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a coach. All I knew is that I kept feeling this pressing to get started. My brother was encouraging me to get started, and he was seeing something in me to get started. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm fine doing this for you. But I felt it inwardly, but I just didn't think that I had it enough to do it for myself. But when I did do it, I found myself doggy paddling, basically treading water because I was in neck deep and I was wasting money and I was spending money. And now I have to take a loss because there's no way for me to recoup this money because I had to pay for my ignorance. I had to pay for my ignorance. And I felt like I spent so much time on this plan with my business. I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to start over. I was being pressed. And I'm going to tell you something. I was responsible for most of the pressure in the pressing because I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't do what I would already have felt I needed to do, but I didn't want to let go of the work I had already done. I didn't want to walk away from the plan that seemed to be intricately in place, but it wasn't. And I was married to the plan. I was married to look what I've done. But I didn't realize that God had better waiting for me. So I took myself, I was applying more pressure than what God had already lined up for me because He was showing me what to do. But guess what? I didn't listen because I thought I knew more than He did. So I sat in that suffrage. I was suffering succotash by my own hand, by my own hand. When I was already in here, but now I was in here like this because I was fighting against it instead of doing what I had to do. So I don't see anybody sharing. So I'm gonna keep moving on. If I see somebody pop up and they want to share an experience, you want to share what strategies do you use to stay strong or resilient during tough times? Most of the time, the first thing that we were taught to do as children was go into prayer and pray and ask God. And like I said, I'm a Christian woman and I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. But I also know that God will do his part, but I got to do mine. You can sit in prayer every day, all day long. And if you're not doing your part, your knees going to get tired, ashy, and weary because the more you pray, you're not doing your part. We all know, let's say it together, faith without works is dead. So exactly. Stay in the word is what has been helping me. Um, we have to be able to speak to some things when we're in business or personal. If you're not, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about spiritual relationship. Every day it is required. But you better know the word so you can speak to some things. You understand? You have to speak to things that come from the word of the living God, and his word is true and it will never fail. So you have to be in that word to understand, know, absorb, and receive. Receive what is telling you that you already have. And if you don't know what you have no way. of knowing how to use what you have. You have no way of how to rely on what you have. So that word will definitely equip you with what you need to know to speak to some situations. It will equip you with strength and will hunker you down in your faith if you don't have any, because I promise you, he will show up and show you who he is. You understand me? So let's not get lost and think that all we got to do is pray. You better be in that word and understand who and whose you are and understand that he has already equipped you, but you better not forget to seek him. You better not forget to seek him because you will be lost in that pressing. In that pressing, there will be no fruit from the pressing. So please stay in tuned and stay in touch because the word will guide you. The word will guide you and it will help you move through situations. I promise you, you will see a difference. So thank you for sharing that, Odie. Definitely that is a go-to for me. I stay in the word. It reminds me of who I am. I speak to my situations because that power is my portion. It was already given to me, and I have to know that that's my portion. Lack and poverty is not my portion. It's just situations that's happening around me. Whether I accept those things in my life is the difference. And the reason why I know that's not my portion, because I be in that word, you understand? So that teaches me and shows me, it affirms and reconfirms with me how great I already am. I just have to understand that when I go from glory to glory, it's gonna be some of this. Cause he got to wrench some stuff out of us. You hear me? He got to wrench us out sometimes. We have to get wrung out sometimes. You know about how to make pasta. They beat that dough, they turn it, they beat it, they pound it, they roll it. But at the end of the day, it goes through that machine. I don't know what it's called, but it goes through that machine. And they put that dough in there and it gets pressed and rolled out. Some of us don't want to get laid out. Some of us don't want to get pressed and laid out because when you get pressed, that's turning you into a new thing. Y'all already know. Y'all see my brand have diamonds all over it. You already know. If you don't know, I will tell you. My memoir was published on February 20th of this year called Pressure. And I talk about life's experiences for me going through pressure from childhood into my adulthood, how I dealt, in my how I lived and went through things in my family and in my marriage and in relationships and with people, things that I learned from different people along the way. I have been pressed and I have had to learn how to press through the pressing and press through the pressure. And that is why I put diamonds everywhere because we are diamonds. We are not going through in vain. We are being transformed into a new thing, but I need you to embrace it. I need you to understand that your mindset needs to shift so that you can accept to how to change how you see things because your mindset sets up your prescription on how you see and experience the world. We need to be able to endure, to go through the pressing, and while we're in there, understand there's opportunities to learn, to grow, and develop. So don't be afraid to be pressed. Don't be afraid to look for something new. We have to get out of our comfort zone because being comfortable is not going to bring us any growth. If it's hard, learn it hard. Learn it because it don't mean you can't do it. It just means you got to learn something new. That's all. And I'm going to tell you something. Learning happens every day. We subconsciously learn things and we don't give ourselves credit for the things that we've embraced, endured, and overcome. We have triumphed and victored over so much more. Just sit down for a moment, and I'm not going to be with y'all long because I'm going to get ready to close out. Just take a moment and write down some of the things that you haven't really taken notice because we take a lot of things that we do for granted. not really realizing how great we really are, not really acknowledging how victorious we really are. So take a moment after we come off the live. Take a moment and take stock into you and acknowledge your accomplishments. Congratulate yourself. Celebrate. You don't need a whole lot of people. Celebrate. It's okay to celebrate solo by yourself because you know what? You did it. You did that thing. So continue to shift your mindset. Be prepared. Learn through the endurance. Take lessons and learn from it because I promise you, every situation will make you into a new person little by little. Doesn't have to be major. Every little triumph, every little victory builds you up and builds new pieces of character for you. And that puzzle starts to look different because new pieces are being placed in you. So don't be afraid to be a new thing. I'm 52 years old and honey, I'm learning and I'm seeing, yes, I'm acting brand new because I am new. God is doing a new thing in me. I'm excited about it. I am being pressed and I prayed for the pressing, but I'm prepared for the pressing. So I want to close out and say thank you for tuning in to Transformation Conversations tonight. Remember, every pressing moment is an opportunity to grow and develop. Keep pressing forward, stay resilient, and embrace the journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and join me next week on July 10th for Transformation Conversations. It's going to be an empowering, transforming discussion. So until then, I want you to stay inspired and empowered. And don't forget to press through the pressing. I love y'all. Thank y'all for coming on. You have blessed me tonight. I don't take it lightly that you join me. So please like, subscribe, and share. Share so we can continue to engage as a community. And I will see you all next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Transformation Conversations. I love y'all. Good night. Bye. I love you real, real big, Odie. Thank you, Dee. Thank you for coming on. I'm so glad you joined us. Have a good night.